Join me as I dive into the incredible miracles that happened through the prophet Elijah and ask the question, can we uncover them all in just one video? Elijah's story is not just history. It's a powerful account of faith, courage, obedience, and the undeniable power of God. In this video, you'll discover how one man stood alone against corruption, false worship, and a nation that had turned away from God, and how God responded with miracles that changed history forever. This is the story of Elijah. At the time Elijah appeared, Israel was in serious trouble, not politically, but spiritually. The nation had drifted away from God. The people were caught in a cycle of disobedience, worshiping false gods and ignoring the warnings of God's prophets. On the throne sat King Ahab, a corrupt ruler who had married a powerful and manipulative woman named Jezebel. Jezebel brought with her the worship of Baal, a false god, and actively promoted idolatry throughout Israel. Under Ahab and Jezebel, sin became normal. False worship was encouraged, and the voice of God was silenced. But God was not silent. That's when Elijah stepped onto the scene. Elijah was not a king. He was not an army commander. He had no political power. Yet he had something far greater, faith in the living God. Elijah stood boldly against this corrupt regime. He confronted King Ahab directly. He challenged a nation that had turned its back on God. His message was clear and uncompromising. Return to God. Obey his laws. Repent. Elijah's words were not empty threats. They came from genuine concern for the spiritual well-being of Israel. And with the stage now set, God was about to perform some incredible miracles through him. As judgment against the nation's disobedience, God allowed a severe drought to come upon the land. Food became scarce. Water dried up. Life became difficult. Yet even in this hardship, God showed his care for his servant. Elijah relied completely on God's guidance and provision. He knew he was not alone. He trusted that God would provide, step by step. During the drought, God miraculously provided food for Elijah, sustaining him when resources were gone. This miracle revealed something powerful. Even when judgment falls, God still cares for his faithful servants. One of the most emotional moments in Elijah's ministry happened in the home of a widow. Tragedy struck when the widow's son became sick and died. Grief filled the house. Hopelessness took over. But Elijah responded with compassion and faith. He prayed a simple, heartfelt prayer to God. No long speeches, no dramatic display. And God responded immediately. The child came back to life. This miracle demonstrated God's power over life and death, and it showed that God is deeply concerned about human suffering. It also revealed Elijah's close relationship with God, one built on trust and obedience. Now we come to the most dramatic moment in Elijah's ministry, the contest on Mount Carmel. Elijah called the people of Israel together and challenged them with a bold question. How long will you waver between two opinions? The people have been trying to serve God and Baal at the same time. Elijah demanded a choice. On Mount Carmel stood 450 prophets of Baal, a large crowd of Israelites, and one man, Elijah. He proposed a simple test: 2 altars, 2 sacrifices, no fire. The God who answered by fire would be proven as the one true God. The prophets of Baal went first. They cried out, they danced, they shouted from morning until evening. But there was no response, no voice, no fire. Then Elijah stepped forward. He rebuilt the altar of the Lord. He soaked the sacrifice with water, making it humanly impossible to burn. And then he prayed a simple yet powerful prayer, asking God to reveal his glory. Suddenly, fire fell from heaven. It consumed the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, even the water. There was no doubt left. The God of Israel had answered. The people were stunned. Their hearts, once hardened, began to change. They fell face down and cried out, "The Lord, he is God." This moment marked a dramatic shift. The people acknowledged their error. They humbled themselves. They turned away from Baal. Elijah's bold obedience had sparked a spiritual awakening. Israel began to see the world differently. After the contest on Mount Carmel, something changed. The people began questioning their allegiance to false gods. They turned back toward the God of Israel. Elijah's ministry had ignited revival. The nation was hungry, not for idols, but for truth. Let's recap the incredible miracles we've seen. God provided food during a devastating drought. God raised a widow's son from the dead. God sent fire from heaven to prove his supremacy. Each miracle revealed a different aspect of God's power: provision, compassion, authority, and each one flowed from Elijah's faith and obedience. Elijah's story teaches us powerful lessons. Faith matters. Even when you stand alone, God stands with you. Obedience matters. Elijah didn't compromise, even under pressure. God is powerful. No false god, no opposition, no situation is beyond him. And finally, God responds to sincere faith. Elijah trusted God completely, and God moved mightily. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the miracles of Elijah, be sure to check out our next video on other biblical heroes. And let us know in the comments, which miracle stood out to you the most? Thanks for watching, and remember, faith and obedience still unlock God's power today.